The Slow Walker Video Productions presents a Tortoise One film. Welcome to the Manana Ridge Trail. The Manana Ridge Trail is a trail with many faces. Starting as a broad, bumpy asphalt road, the path gently rolls and winds along towards its terminus at a Board of Water supply tank. Just past the tank, the asphalt ends and the trail proper began, along with the rain that day. Unfortunately, because of my early start time and cloudy weather, lighting wasn't conducive to photography or videography at the start of the trek. Weather would often make photo ops sporadic at best for the rest of the day. A little less than a mile into the trail, a sign marks a junction. To the right leads a trail to the Waimano Pools. A particularly steep section of this trail has earned the name Cardiac Hill. This trail will be the subject for another video. To the left, the trail to the Ko'olau summit continues, breaking from forested canopy to exposed ridge and back again into cover. The trail is easy to follow, and the slope is usually gentle, for the first couple of miles anyway, that leads to a sheltered picnic table. The trail morphs from broad, gentle-sloped, grassy boulevards to narrow single track and every variation in between.
Head from a place that I'm going to name Fallen Trees, and the reason for that may become evident. There's a beautiful view across to, I believe, the Waimano Ridge, which is going to be our ticket home, maybe on our next hike. We'll take this very same hike, the Manana Ridge Trail. There's our trail going uphill towards the ridge, or the Ko'olau summit. And the next hike, hopefully with more than just the old slow walker here, we'll go all the way up to Ko'olau summit, cross the summit, do some geocaching along the way, and head on down the Waimano Trail and camp there. Here we go, a full 360. I guess I could have taken pictures from that mound up there, but we stick to trail as much as possible, and it's a kind of a wet substrata right now that we're standing on and hiking on. Some parts a little bit slippery. Glad I've got my trekking poles. And we'll see you more along the trail. Well, here I am at the picnic table and shelter. Some people said this is a nice place to stop and turn around and go back to the beginning of the trail. As you can see, the sceneries here, even on an overcast day like today, it's really beautiful. Can't really see as you look on down there. We're actually looking into the Pearl Harbor area. The rain has just stopped and now it's beginning again, so I'm going to be heading into the shelter. But as you can see, there's a slight berm here where I'm standing in, just slight depression. Probably fits more 4 small backpacking tents, and I'm going to have my granola bars and get out of the rain for just a little while. Nice to get the pack off my hips for it. Wow, oh man, and now it's really coming down. Okay, so looks like if it gets really rainy, I can't make it back up to, or all the way up to the summit, or maybe if I can make it back to the summit, or back from the summit to this point, as it's really breezy and it's going to be kind of windy. I'm not sure what the conditions at the helipad up on top are going to be like. This is as good a place as any to camp. That little berm over to the right area will give me some protection from the wind as it comes up over the ridge. So this looks like a really nice place to camp with all the rain, and you probably can't make it out on the video, but with all this rain coming down right now, it's kind of tempting to just call it a beautiful hike and camp here for the evening. But if the rain lets up, we'll head on up the ridge. Right now it's granola bar time.
A plaque on one of the uprights bears tribute to the Boy Scout troops that helped construct this shelter. Unfortunately, it also bears marks of a less industrious handiwork. Above the picnic table, the trail attempts to lull the traveler with a wide, gentle incline, but soon enough it shows its true face. Steep drops followed by equally steep climbs test your knees and determination to continue. If you're geocaching, your targets may seem tantalizingly close. Just remember, GPS distances to target are marked along horizontal planes and a straight line. There are precious few straight sections along this trail, though. Rain and mud made traction very challenging at times. Steep, narrow, muddy sections often required using all fours to climb and controlled slides to descend. I had brought along a brand new backpack and loaded it to about 34 pounds. I thought this would be a great time to test it in preparation for an upcoming week-long trek. Not having hiked for a while, I thought this would also help me get into shape for the 50-miler I was planning on. A word of advice: never use unfamiliar trails for training exercise unless you're in good condition and know your equipment. Had I been using one of my lighter backpack setups and been in better condition, my knees would have not taken such a brutal beating.
Well, I'm not sure if this is the helipad that they talk about in Stuart Ball's Hiker's Guide to Oahu. They made some very steep ascents and descents. Well, at least for a person who's got bad knees, bad back, bad hips, bad shoulder, but who's complaining? Anyway, once you make it up to this point, and you'll find the area quite a bit smaller than the area down by the picnic table. View up here is really nice. We've got a pretty good wind going, but if you keep low to the ground and your tent stands up well to wind, this would probably be a good place to camp if you had to or wanted to. Again, weather's not optimal, but this is where we're going to stop and take a quick standing break before we head on towards the summit. What I'd like to do is make it back to the picnic table before nightfall, set up tent down, or my tent down there. Preferable to this area just because of its wind, but if this is a lot less windy, this would be a wonderful place to camp. You could fit possibly 3 very small tents in here, and you'd be crammed side to side, but you probably could do it. Again, here's a picture of my trekking poles to give you kind of an idea of what kind of space you have for your tents. So, get a sip of water, get my gear together, log my stay, and we'll move on up to the ridge.
Upon leaving the helipad, the trail begins a roller coaster imitation with a seemingly endless series of steep descents and equally steep climbs. My knees began begging me to turn around. Having injured my knees on a different trail, I knew when enough was enough, and I continued anyway. I was determined to find at least one of the geocaches I had intended to discover on the way to the summit. After more than a mile of slipping, sliding, and crawling, I located the treasure. While looking into the clouds that hid the next roller coaster section, I made the disappointing, though prudent, decision to head back to the trailhead for rest, recuperation, and therapy. As challenging as this trail was, the scenery and solitude are worth the adventure.
Okay, I'm not sure if you're able to see that up there where the rope's kind of tied off, or if you can make out just exactly how slippery this slope is. But this is one of the cable sections that you have to traverse before you even get to the helipad. And sorry about the jerky motion of the camera there. Way off there in the distance, I don't know if you can make that out, I've got to climb that hill, and I'm actually headed on the way back. So I just came down this rope section, and this is just one of, I believe, right around, I kind of lost count, but what about 10 of them? There's another rope section immediately above this, and that's about the same length, different steepness, but just as challenging. So on back down to the happy camping grounds.
I hope you've enjoyed this video and that it has been informative. This is a great trail and I hope to visit again in the future. Just remember, this is a 12-mile round trip from trailhead to summit and back that will test your conditioning and your determination. Never hike alone and be prepared. See you on the trail. Aloha.